Now let us start the class. In the last period we have studied about the splitting of orbitals into the various shape. For example, if we think of the octahedral splitting, we can see that the 6 ligands coming from the direction of the axis makes the orbitals which are present on the axis to go at the higher energy level. At the same time, the orbitals which are present in between the axis, their energy being decreased, and this is how we can have the T2G orbitals with the lower energy, which are dxy, dyz and dzx, and we have EG orbitals which have the higher energy. They are the orbitals present in between, they are present on the axis, and that is why their energy has been increased. The energy which is increased is by 3 by 5 delta, and the energy decrease is by 2 by 5 delta. You can even write 0.6 instead of 3 by 5 and 0.4 instead of 2 by 5, and this is how overall delta O splitting we can understand. So this is how the splitting into the octahedral splitting of d orbitals, that is what we can understand. In case of the tetrahedral splitting, the case has been completely reversed, and the attack of ligand is from the space between the axis, and that is why due to the attack of ligand from in between the space of axis, the orbitals which are on the space on the on the axis, that is dx square minus y square, their energy has been decreased, and the orbital in between the axis like dxy, dyz and dz, their energy has been increased. The energy has been increased to the orbital, they are known as the T2, and the energy for those which has been decreased is known as the E. Here we do not write G because G stands for geometry, where the geometry has the center of symmetry, and tetrahedral shape does not have center of symmetry, and that is why we do not write, or we do not call dxy, dyz and dzx as T2G, but we just call them as T2, and dx square minus y square and dz square we do not call it as EG, but just we call it as E, and this is how the splitting is almost or completely inverted in case of the tetrahedral splitting. Same way we can understand, my dear students, that in case of the relation between the octahedral and tetrahedral splitting, we can write the equation as if it is delta T is equal to 4 by 9 delta O, or we can say that delta O is equal to 9 by 4 delta T. And this is how we can understand one more fact, that the splitting of octahedral or octahedral splitting is bigger than the tetrahedral splitting, and this is how we conclude the relationship between the octahedral and tetrahedral splitting. As we have seen in the crystal field theory that we studied about the splitting energy delta O and delta T. The value of delta O or delta T makes a difference when it comes to know about the strength of ligand. So now we are going to study about the strength of ligand. In crystal field splitting, some ligands produce a strong field while the other ligand produce weak field. Ligands can be arranged in the series in the order of increasing field strength. Such series is called the electrochemical series, and you can see here, my dear students, that the electrochemical series is there on your screen. So when you look at the electrochemical series, iodine is less than bromine is less than thiocyanate is less than chlorine is less than sulfide is less than fluorine is less than hydroxide is less than oxalate is less than water is less than uh, thiocyanate is less than EDTA is less than NH3 is less than ethane 1,2-diamine is less than cyanide is less than carbonide. So carbonyl is considered as the strongest ligand, whereas iodine minus is considered as the weakest ligand. Spectrochemical series is an experimentally determined series based on the absorption of light by the ligand, absorption of light by the ligand, and by the complex with the different ligands. Cn minus, Co minus and En always behave as a strong field ligand and cause pairing. NH3 sometimes behave as a strong ligand and sometimes behave as a weak ligand. All the rest of the ligands behave as a weak ligand in most of the cases. Now let us understand about the strong field ligand. For a strong field ligand, octahedral splitting is more than pairing energy, and that is why the octahedral splitting energy is more than the pairing energy. And when this is what it happens, then we get the inner complex with the hybridization D2sp3. At the same time, we get the low spin complex, and this is what the example of strong field ligand are CO and Cn minus. Same way, my dear students, let's look at the weak field ligand. For a weak field ligand, octahedral splitting is less than the pairing energy, so pairing energy or pairing does not take place. Octahedral splitting energy is less than the pairing energy, and thus weak field ligand do not cause pairing. Thus they form the outer complex, that is the complex with the hybridization sp3d2. Such as there is no pairing, so high spin complex has been formed, and the example of weak field ligands are Cl minus, Br minus, F minus, and etc. Same way, my dear students, we can go for the next part. Calculation shows that P4 and D7 coordination entities are more stable for the strong field as compared to the weak field ligands. In tetrahedral splitting or tetrahedral complexes, orbital splitting energy are not sufficient. So delta T is less than pairing energy in most of the cases, and that is why in the tetrahedral splitting, therefore, pairing is rare, thus mostly high spin complexes are formed into the tetrahedral splitting. Low spin complexes are rare in case of the tetrahedral case. Now we'll study about CuNH3 6 plus 3. So according to valence bond theory and crystal field theory, in complex CuNH3 plus 6, my dear students, the oxidation state of cobalt is plus 3. So cobalt is argon 37 for S2. So cobalt plus 3 would be argon 36 for S0. So cobalt plus 3 has argon 36 for S0 for P0. But NH3 became, because of the weak ligand, they do not cause here behave as a strong ligand. Please remember that CuNH3 plus 6, ammonia behave as a strong ligand. So NH3 here behave as a strong ligand and cause pairing. So this 3D6, they are undergo pairing, and the 3 orbitals of 3D are completely filled. 2 orbitals 3D are left. 1 orbital 4s and 3 orbital of 4p. So D2sp3 hybridization takes place, where in the D2sp3 hybridized orbital, ammonia put or donate their electron, and this is how the octahedral D2sp3 CuNH3 plus 3 is being formed. You can see the octahedral structure that has been shown into the figure, my dear students. It is an inner complex because inner 3D orbital are used. They are the low spin complex because all the unpaired electrons have been paired, so their spin has been decreased, and it is diamagnetic because no unpaired electrons are present, and that is why CuNH3 is a diamagnetic in nature. Here, please remember that NH3 behaves as a strong ligand. We will see some of the compound where NH3 behaves as a weak ligand. Now we'll move to the COF6 minus 3. We can calculate that the oxidation state of cobalt into COF6 minus 3 is plus 3, and that is why we'll look at the cobalt. So we have cobalt, electronic configuration is argon 37 4s2. When it turns into cobalt plus 3, 3 electrons are removed, so 2 electrons from 4s and 1 electron from 3d are been removed, and that is why cobalt plus 3 is argon 36 4s0. In this fluorine is a weak ligand and does not cause flaring, and that is why all the electron present in 3d remains the same way, one paired, whereas 4 unpaired electron are present in 3d, and then this 4s 4p and 4d, this orbital undergoes the hybridization. 1 4s, 3 4p and 2 4d collectively make sp3d2 hybridization, and then this is the outer complex where the 4s 4p and 4d orbitals have been used. This your COF6 become octahedral. Hybridization is sp3d2. As it is sp3d2 hybridization, we call it the outer complex, and it is high spin complex because there are 4 unpaired electrons present in it. That is why it is paramagnetic also, and its mu b would be 4.19 Bohr magneton. So this is how, my dear students, we can understand about the all the characteristics, whether magnetic or the shape and the outer or inner complex. So we study about the complexes using both the valence bond theory as well as the crystal field theory. Now we have the next compound, which is NiCl4. The oxidation state of Ni into NiCl4 is +2. The electronic configuration of Ni Z is equal to 28 is argon 3d8 4s2. When Ni from Ni it turns into Ni +2, 2 electrons from 4s are being removed. So the electronic configuration of Ni +2 is argon 3d8 4s0 4p0. In the chlorine ions are the weak ligand and does not cause pairing. So all the electrons present in the 3d orbital of nickel remains the same. So 3 orbitals are filled with the pair of electron and 2 orbitals are filled with the unpaired electron. Then using the 1s and 3p, sp3 hybridization takes place into the NiCl4 and thus the complex turns tetrahedral. On your screen, my dear students, you can see the shape tetrahedral for NiCl4. Cl minus is a weak field ligand, that is why the complex is high spin complex. The hybridization is sp3 hybridization, and that is why we get the tetrahedral shape. 2 unpaired electrons are present, and that is why NiCl4 minus is a paramagnetic in nature, and mu b for NiCl4 would be 2.84 Bohr magneton. This is how, my dear students, we now going to understand about NiCN4 minus 2. Cn-4 is a strong ligand. The oxidation state of Ni into CN4, NiCN4 minus 2 is +2. So nickel is present as Ni +2. Nickel, the atomic number is Z is equal to 28, and therefore the electronic configuration is argon 3d8 4s2. When we have Ni +2, the 2 electrons from 4s are being removed. So as the 2 electron from 4s goes out, the electronic configuration of Ni turns as Ni +2 argon 3d8 4s0 4p0. Here Cl minus being strong ligand, it causes the pairing, and the 8 electron present into the 3d are filled as a pair of electron into 4d orbital. So 1d orbital remain vacant. So that 1d orbital, then 4s orbital and 2 4p orbital collectively make the hybridization dsp2. So in NiCN4 minus 2, my dear students, we get dsp2 hybridization, and as the hybridization is dsp2, we get a square planar shape. You can see on your screen that I have shown you NiCN4 minus 2 as a square planar in the shape. It is a low spin complex because all the electrons have been paired, and as there is no unpaired electron, NiCN4 minus is diamagnetic in nature. Now we are going to study about NiCO4. It is known as the tetracarboline nickel 0. CO is known as the carbonyl, which is a strong ligand. The oxidation state of nickel in NiCO4 is 0. Thus nickel, the electronic configuration Z is equal to 28, and that is why nickel argon 3d8 4s2. Now CO, carbonyl, being a strong ligand, cause pairing as well as it moves the electron, 2 electron present into 4s. This electron goes into 3d orbital, and this is how the 3d orbital in NiCO4 is completely filled with 5 pair of electrons, and that is why in NiCO4 the hybridization goes as sp3. So in the hybrid orbitals sp3, 4 CO ligands donate their electron, and this is how, due to the sp3 hybridization, a tetrahedral NiCO4 has been produced, and this NiCO4 does not have any unpaired electron, and that is why it is diamagnetic in nature, which is a low spin complex, which is an outer orbital complex. An oxidation state of nickel in NiCO4 is 0. Please remember, my dear students, that in NiCO4 the oxidation state of nickel is 0. Now we will understand or revise the nickel complex that we have studied. NiCl4, the complex is NiCl4, the ligand in it is Cl minus, which is a weak ligand. The hybridization takes place in NaCl4 is sp3, and that is why the shape is tetrahedral. It is a outer orbital complex and it is high spin complex, and paramagnetic or diamagnetic, it is paramagnetic in nature, and the magnetic momentum is 2.84 Bohr magneton. When we have studied about NaCl4 minus 2, where the ligand is Cl minus, which is a strong ligand, the hybridization takes place dsp2, and it is a square planar in nature or a square planar in shape. It is inner orbital complex and it is a low spin complex, and it is a diamagnetic in nature. Then when we look at the NiCO4, the ligand is carbonyl CO. It is a strong ligand. The hybridization is sp3. It is tetrahedral in nature. It is outer orbital complex with a low spin, and it is diamagnetic in nature because no electrons are paired in it. Now we'll move to the other examples. Now we are going to study about CO-C2O4 thrice 3 minus, which is also known as the trioxylato cobalt plus 3. Here C2O4 minus 2 is a strong ligand, and the oxidation state of cobalt is plus 3. So cobalt, where we have Z is equal to 27. Cobalt, we have Z is equal to 27. So cobalt, when from cobalt plus 3 turns, cobalt Z is equal to 27, so it is argon 3d7 4s2. Now from cobalt, if it turns into cobalt plus 3, 3 electrons have been removed, so 1 electron from 4s and 1 electron from 3d have been removed, so cobalt plus 3, we would write it as argon 3d6 4s0. There are 6 electrons present into 3d. C2O4 minus 2 is a strong ligand which cause pairing, and that is why in the CO2O4 3 minus 3, the pairing takes place. So in 3D we have 3 orbital completely filled and 2 orbital vacant. Using this 3D 2 vacant orbital, 1 4s orbital and 3 4p orbital, sp3d2 hybridization has been taken place, and this didentate C2O4 minus 2 oxalato ligand donates its 2 pair of electron into the vacant orbitals, vacant sp3d2 orbitals, and this is how we can understand the octahedral shape of the trioxylato cobalt 3 ion. So this is how you can see the shape. Even I have explained. You can see here, my dear students, that each oxalate ion makes 2 coordination with the cobalt. This is also called chelate formation, and this chelate formation make more stability. This complex is a low spin complex because oxalate ion is a strong ligand which cause pairing. It is inner orbital complex and no unpaired electron have been seen into this. It is, as there is no unpaired electron, it is diamagnetic in nature. Now, my dear students, we are going to study about MnCl6 minus 3. Cl minus 1 is a weak ligand, and that is why it does not cause pairing. Mn, the atomic number is 25, so it is argon 35 4s2. The oxidation state of Mn into MnCl6 would be Mn plus 3. So when Mn turns into Mn plus 3, 3 electron has been removed. So 2 electron goes from 4s and 1 electron goes from 3d. That is why the electronic configuration of Mn plus 3 would be argon 3d4 4s0 4p0 and 4d0. Now in MnCl6, the 6 Cl minus has to come. So 3d have been filled with the 4 electron. One orbital of 3d remain vacant, and then using the 4s, 1 4s, 3 4p and 2 4d, sp3d2 hybridization has been taken place. In this 6 vacant orbital of sp3d2 hybridization, 6 Cl minus come and put their or donate their electron into it, and this is how the octahedral MnCl6 minus 3 have been prepared. These octahedral orbitals, they make the outer orbital complex, and the number of unpaired electron is equal to 4. As the number of unpaired electrons are 4, the magnetic momentum mu b would be 4.90 Bohr magneton, and it is a high spin complex. Note that it is clearly mentioned in the textbook as well as in the all references that MnCl6 minus 3 has four unpaired electron and is outer orbital complex, that is sp3d2 hybridization. So this is what it is possible only when we put the 3d orbital, one of the 3d orbital vacant, and that is why I have shown you the 3d orbital vacant. Now we are going to study about MnCl6 minus 3. In the textbook it is mentioned that it has paramagnetic character with two unpaired electrons. So Cl minus is a strong ligand that causes pairing. The oxidation state of Mn we can calculate here, and in MnCl6 the oxidation state is plus 3. So in MnCl6 Mn plus 3 is present. Mn Z is equal to 25, so it is argon 35 4s2. Mn plus 3 turns, then 2 electrons from 4s and 1 electron from 3d are removed, so it is argon 34 4s0 4p0. My dear students, here this is even a special case where the presence of Cn minus ligand cause pairing, but the pairing is not complete pairing, it is a partial pairing. So when MnCl6 minus 3 is formed, you can see that only out of 4 unpaired electron, only 2 electron have been paired, and 2 electron remain unpaired, and then using the two 3d orbital, one 4s orbital and three 4p orbital, D2sp3 hybridization takes place. This D2sp3 hybridization has prepared 6 vacant orbital. In this 6 vacant orbital, 6 Cn minus come and they donate their pair of electron, and this is how the octahedral MnCl6 has been formed. The hybridization is D2sp3. It is an inner orbital complex which is a low spin complex. It is paramagnetic in nature and 2 unpaired electron found, and that is why mu b is considered to be 2.84 Bohr magneton. The shape is octahedral, my dear students, and you can see on your screen I have explained you the octahedral MnCl6 minus 3. Now we are going to study about FeCN6 minus 3, my dear students. In FeCN6 minus 3, Cn minus is a strong ligand that causes pairing. The oxidation state of Fe in FeCN6 minus 3 has been calculated as Fe plus 3. So Fe Z is equal to 26, electronic configuration argon 3d6 4s2. When this turns into Fe plus 3, 2 electron from 4s and 1 electron from 3d goes out, and Fe plus 3 would be having electronic configuration argon 35 4s0 4p0. Cn minus is a strong ligand, and when it attacks it causes pairing of 3d 5 electron. So 3d5 out of 5 electron, 2 pairs of electron has been made and 1 electron remain unpaired. Thus 2 d orbitals are vacant, 2 3d orbital, 1 4s orbital and 3 4p orbital collectively form the hybridization D2sp3 in case of FeCN6 minus 3, my dear students, and that is why it is an inner orbital complex with D2sp3 hybridization. So we can say that hybridization is D2sp3, the inner orbital complex. It has low spin because electrons, out of 5 electrons have been paired and 2 pair of electron has been produced, so it is low spin complex. It is paramagnetic in nature because there is one unpaired electron present. One unpaired electron present, so the spin or only magnetic momentum mu b would be 1.73 Bohr magneton. The shape is octahedral, and you can see here I have shown you the FeCN6 minus 3 as an octahedral complex. Now we are going to study about Fi F6, my dear students. F minus 1 is a weak ligand that does not cause any kind of pairing. You can see that the oxidation state of Fe has been calculated as a plus 3. Fe Z is equal to 25, so argon 3d6 4s2. From Fe plus 3 takes place, 2 electron from 4s and 1 electron from 3d goes out, and Fe plus 3 would be 3d5 4s0 4p0 4d0. So here you can see that in D 5 orbitals are filled with 1 electron each. So the possible hybridization would be taking 1 4s, 3 4p and 2 4d, and thus in FeF6 minus 3 when it is prepared, there is sp3d2 hybridization takes place into 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. Each fluorine donates its electron pair, and thus the FeF6 minus 3 has been formed. Hybridization is sp3d2. It is outer orbital complex. It is high spin complex because there are 5 unpaired electrons present in it. So 5 unpaired electron, it is paramagnetic in nature, and mu b would be 5.92 Bohr magnetron. Shape you can easily see, it is octahedral. You can see the figure, or you can see the diagram for FeF6 minus 3, which is an octahedral complex. Now we are going to study about FeH2O6 plus 3. My dear students, H2O is a weak ligand that does not cause pairing. The oxidation state of FeH2O6 plus 3 would be plus 3 because H2O has a 0 charge, and thus Fe atomic number Z is equal to 26 argon 3d6 4s2. Fe plus 3 would be argon 3d5 4s0 4p0 4d0. Here H2O behaves as a weak ligand and does not cause pairing, and that is why using 1 4s, 3 4p